had to tear myself out of the Erykah Badu, Jill Scott verses. Ooh, just vibing with a pair of queens. Just so good. Just so good. And the banter and the stories and just everything. Just everything. So we're going to jump right in. You're probably kind of like stunned when you see the guest for tonight, because you're going to go, wait a minute, how y'all know each other? And we can't wait to share with you how long we've known each other, how we met, all of that. He is one of a kind. He is one of a kind in terms of his talent, in terms of his heart, in terms of his spirit and his energy, his tenacity, his longevity. Yeah, I could keep going and going and going. So without further ado, let me get my dear, dear friend. Here he comes.
Hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Johnny Gill, look how you're looking. How are you, baby?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, John R. You got to go to the way back.
Okay, you're going way back, and it's still going on.
That's right. That's right.
I'm still
Hi.
John R. How
John
have you
R.
been?
I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
I tell you, with all this madness that's going on, it's like I hate picking up the phone. Every time you pick up the phone, it's like, huh? What now?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. No, you're right, baby. You are so right. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to my dear, dear friend, Mr. Johnny Gill on the Birthday Vibes Countdown.
Yeah, that's like,
where to start. You know what I mean? Just where do we start?
I don't know, but you're older than me, so you know.
You a lie.
Okay, who's counting? Whatever.
Well, let's start at the beginning. So Johnny and I met in the Glendale Galleria in Los Angeles, California. Okay, Johnny Gill and I. That's Johnny Gill.
1980.
No,
No.
we're not gonna do
Huh?
that. We're not
Yeah,
doing that.
it was 19 something. It was in the, wasn't that in the 80s?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I still had teen in my age.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 16 or 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so so I was in the mall, and I walked by him and I went, oh my, you're Johnny Gill. And he's like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Hey. And it was, I mean, that's all.
And we just clicked.
And
we clicked. Yeah.
And at the time, he didn't live in LA. You lived in DC.
See, yeah,
And
yeah.
yes, I was still in high school. Elijah, one of the followers said I was still in high school. So, so we just clicked, and just had the greatest conversations. That's one of my early memories of Johnny Gill.
Wow.
But personally speaking, is that somebody said it doesn't matter. We already know y'all's ages. When you're public figures for this long, yeah. So we met, we exchanged numbers and everything, and somehow, I don't really know how, and I ain't gonna put you on the spot, but I was always in the sister zone. I was always in the sister zone. So when we exchanged, you ain't gotta say it like that.
Yeah. I ain't put you on show. I ain't put you. Yeah.
Well, meaning that when
no, just messing with you.
When we exchanged phone numbers, it wasn't, like we was feeling each other, checking for each other.
No, it was it was great, great admiration, I think mutual between us. And it was just, you know, I remember I had been following you and your career, and I was, you know, it was just one of those things where we was just like, something just clicked where it was like, it was beyond that. It was just like, wow, oh, hey.
Yeah.
And we was just like,
Mhm.
just clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about it, family. Now let me take this all the way back. So this was Johnny had just dropped one of the greatest albums, one of the most, in my opinion, and Questlove might back me up on this because he's, you know, the professor. I think Johnny Gill's solo album, the very first one when he's in the tuxedo, is one of the most underrated of all time. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
With the jerk girl.
With the jerk girl. And
Ay, ay, ay.
this song. And this was when, you know, he was doing the duets with Stacey Lattisaw, but he had a solo record that, I mean, and the thing about it that made everybody just like, wow, was Johnny had this real grown, like Teddy P grown type of vibe, but he was a teenager himself.
Yeah.
The Chemistry album, yes. And so I didn't remember that. Somebody just wrote it down.
Wow.
And
That's
my
real.
favorite song was Half Crazy. I could not get enough of that right there.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, tell the people about it.
Oh, it was crazy because I didn't, you know, I was just a kid still, you know, and I didn't know what I was doing. I had, I remember recording this song, and I came out of the studio, and I saw Linda Creed, Linda Creed was an incredible writer. She wrote songs like "The Greatest Love of All," "God Bless You," "You Make Me Feel Brand New." The list goes on. And Linda Creed, Tom Bell, and all of them.
I was gonna say she wrote with Tom Bell, right?
Yeah. So it was crazy because I walked out of the studio, and there she was standing there in the control room, tears coming down. And, you know, I'm just a young kid singing. I don't know. I'm just doing what comes natural. And I remember her looking at me saying, "You're going to be, you're going to do and be quite successful in this business, kid." And I remember just taking to her very shortly after that. She passed away from cancer. And I was the very last person on project that she worked on. So it was really special. But yeah, and I couldn't understand. I was like, why is she crying when I walked out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You put your foot in it, and I mean, you laid that thing out. And do you ever revisit music? I was just in the verses vibe with Jill and Erica, and they were talking about how, you know, when you have a song and you perform it, and you know where you were when you recorded it, but then whenever you perform it or you hear it, either you're in a different place or you remember that. What is that like when you hear that particular song because you were so young?
It always reminds me of Linda. It reminds me because I was, you know, as a kid growing up singing and getting started in the business, you don't understand the impact that you're going to make on someone's life. And that was the first time that I realized that gift that God had given me really affected her, and really, you know, to a point, to watching her in tears, that it made me, that was the first time I was aware of how serious of a gift that God had given me. I mean, growing up, even in church, as a kid growing up, we used to actually, my brothers and I, we would, we used to sit down because we would sing and play in different churches in the metropolitan area. And we would sit down and talk about, okay, watch how many people we're going to make shout. Watch this, I'm going to do this, and watch how I make this church explode. I'm doing it thinking it was fun. And I did not have an inkling of a clue, not realizing that there was something that was really anointing that was there, that was unique, and that not everybody can do that to people. I had no clue. I was just thinking it was fun, and I would go watch this, watch how many people would make shout, and it was like just this fun thing. But I began to realize later that there was there was something unique. There was something that was different. Because as a kid growing up in church, you think everybody can sing. I did for a long time, and I didn't think there was anything special about what I was doing. I was just paying attention and knew that I knew how to do certain things that could hit buttons and make people move a certain way. But watching Linda Creed when I came out of that studio was the first time that I realized, took it, and it really dawned on me just how powerful and what the gift that God had given me, that was something that was a little different.
Yes. No, very different. Very different. It's very different. So fast forward then, a couple of months later, Johnny goes back to DC, and then, you know, just began the most amazing friendship that you could ever imagine for us. So I remember I had to do an appearance in DC, and I'm so mad at you.
What?
I'll tell you in a minute what that giggle was. Honey, this new growth got my braids going every which way, and I'm trying to. I cannot wait to get to this hairdresser. Anyway, so fast forward a couple of months later, and I come to DC to do this appearance, and Johnny invites me and one of my friends who had traveled with me to the Luther Vandross concert. We'll just leave that story there. There were other friends that, you know, went to the concert that didn't quite have the understanding of me and Johnny's friendship that Kim and Johnny had about their friendship. So some other folks felt a little threatened, perhaps.
You know, you could say that, or you could really just say he was scared. No, I'm just joking. Psych. You know, I think about it as I never, but it never dawned on me till later. When you think about it as a man who sings, as a crooner who sings about love, watching and how much attention you get from women because of being a messenger, being able to know what women want to sing about, what women want to hear in your message. And I guess if you're a man standing on the outside who doesn't have that gift or that power to do that, I mean, at some point you got to think, I understand how you feel, bro. Don't hate me, hate the game.
Exactly. So I'm just like, for real, it ain't like that. Please.
Right.
No. Stop all the. But anyway, I still had a great time at the Luther Vandross concert with my boy JG in the house.
That was fun. Yeah.
It was fun. So I will never forget. And welcome to the Birthday Vibes Countdown. If you guys are just now joining, my birthday is on Tuesday, and so since May 1st, we have been doing this countdown, sponsored by the one and only Signature Blends by KF. You know I have a coffee line, right?
And you know, I just started drinking coffee.
Okay, so brought to you by my coffee line, Signature Blends by KF.
You send me some. Stop playing.
So your birthday's coming up, so I'll send you some.
Okay, don't wait till it's just my birthday.
It's around the corner. Fine.
Okay, you right.
Fine.
You right.
And John Bill has wonderfully and so graciously agreed to spend a little time on the countdown tonight before our other spectacular guest joins. So I remember, again, I was still in high school, like junior, senior year of high school. And towards the end of the run of Facts of Life, and I had, and because I was in LA and you lived in DC, we do have organic blends. And so the 3-hour time difference.
Right.
So, and so, you know, wait, who are you asking to sing? Somebody just said, can you sing for us, please? But you know, you got both of us on here, so you need to make your request a little clearer.
Who do you think that? Wait a minute. Who do you think they want to sing?
I don't like that.
Don't. Hey, don't flatter yourself.
How dare you?
No. Hey, wait a minute. Wait. I want to hear you sing. Come on.
Listen, stop playing. I'll bust out with Perfect Combination.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
So anyway, Johnny calls, and it's late on the East Coast for him. And so immediately I pick up the phone, and it's like, what's wrong? And he's like, no, nothing's wrong. Well, what's the matter? Why are you calling so late? And he says, Bobby left New Edition, and they want me to join New Edition. I'll never forget when you told me that, when you called, and I was a part of Johnny's inner circle of trusted friends, family, confidants, to be able to share that and share it.
Yeah, because I was. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was always on the fence. I mean, I was early on when it happened. I was really on the fence because I kept saying, "Wait a minute." So they sing and dance. I sing. I don't sing and dance. So I'm like, well, what the hell they want me to do while they're dancing? Because I'm not dancing. It was all that stuff that was sitting there. We was trying to weigh out, like, okay, the audience that they have is more of a younger audience, and it was all these things. And then, you know, you realize later that it was just a part of the destiny, part of what God's plan was, obviously. And so, you know, as we moved forward, and you know, I started just kind of getting to a point where I was like, that's a challenge. It's going to be a challenge to have a guy with 2 left feet trying to sing and dance. I was like, when Brooke first saw me, we went over to Ronnie's house.
Like, what?
Yeah, we went over to Ron's house, and then when they told Brooke what was going on, and Brooke looked at them, and he was like, okay, so, and what does this mean? And then they go, well, we're putting them in the group, and we're thinking about putting adding them to the group. And so Brooke says, okay, well, let's see a cross step. So Johnny, can you do a cross step? And I was like, no, what's a cross step? So I'm watching them doing it, and then they ask, oh, all you got to do is do this, and I want you to do this, do this, do this. I did that and did that, and then you can see the look on Brooke's face, like, what the hell just happened? I'm a choreographer. I'm not God. I'm thinking, oh man, what the hell? Yeah. At the beginning, but it was a challenge, and it was meant to be.
Yeah, it truly was. It truly was. But I love that you didn't just jump right at the first, offer.
Oh yeah, no.
There was a lot of thought. There was a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
You had
a lot of conversations with my dear close friends.
You were a solo artist, successful, on the rise, with your trajectory. I mean, just all sorts of things that you considered. And I'll never forget that conversation and being a part of your process in during that time, was really
you were there.
And I
absolutely
treasured that. And I was excited too, because I knew that if you did it, number one, it would bring you to LA, bring you to LA more. But also that once and we talked about this, that once you found and they found your groove, because it would be a process, that you didn't get swallowed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that all of that came really because of the fact that I always felt, even before I got with the group, I had a solo career, and getting in the group, what I learned over time with being able to be in the group was there's a thing called balance in life. And I felt like being a part of a group, a thing called balance that we all need in life. Being as a solo artist and then being able to go into a group and you have a role to play. I'm no longer the front guy. I'll have to, or need the attention. I have to be out front. But to be able to learn how to work with other people and play your role, that's what took us to, listen, they had been going to the playoffs before I got there. We just won the championship when I got there. We had our biggest records of our careers, and a number of things took place, and that was simply because of all of us. It was not one individual, and that's how you win championships, working together as a team. So it was like being and I had the being obligated as a solo artist as well as being a part of the group allowed me the comfort of being able to be comfortable in my skin and in playing a role with being a part of this group, understanding that I still have an opportunity from a creative standpoint to be able to express myself as an artist when that time comes. So I felt cool about it. I remember Terry Lewis looked at me and told me when we got back to Minneapolis, you know, you're not going to be singing any songs on the album. I said, okay, whatever you guys need me to do. And Terry kept saying, he said he was thinking, he didn't even blink. I was like, it didn't matter. Whatever my role was, that's what it was, and that's what I was here to do. So it didn't bother me, or I didn't think twice about it.
Yeah. But that's some real. Again, you were still very young. You all were still very young, and yet that kind of thinking and mentality.
Oh yeah.
That's a real. That's real big boy. That's real grown man thinking.
Yeah.
And not just in terms of a male and chronologically speaking, as an artist, that's some next level thinking as an artist for you to do that.
Yeah, it was just part of my upbringing. I think it was, I think, and everyone always said that from day one as a kid. Remember, we were just laughing about how mature my voice was, and I was just still a little kid. And everyone used to say, he's so ahead of his time. He's sounds like he's been here before. And when you listen to him talk, it sounds like he's so wise. It sounds like he's been here before. You know, and I don't know, maybe I have, but that's, you know, growing up in church and having a great, strong family, a foundation, really made the difference of where I ultimately, the attitude of walking in a business that could chew you up and spit you out and turn you into a complete different person. That's what I admire the most about you to this day. You started in here early too, and always remain the Kimmy that I knew from day one. And I'm talking about, we see the growth, but I'm just talking about the essence of your spirit and your soul as a person, as a human being. Never changed. Never changed.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, Johnny.
Now give me my check. You know I'm out of work. Stop playing.
So then you end up having this wonderful time, this wonderful string of hits, and the Any Heartbreak tour was one of the greatest tours ever in the history of R&B music. And I mean, it was quite a ride. It was quite a ride, you know. And then it became, now it's Johnny's turn again as a solo artist.
Yeah.
What with that?
Well, I was ready. I think that being a part of the group, because I was in the middle of recording the album when I joined the group. So Gerald Busby decided that we're gonna hold that, and let's get to this with New Edition, and then we'll come back, and because New Edition had such a big following, and that would give you the great exposure that you need, and people will know who you are, and then we'll come back and follow your album with that. And that was just the perfect plan. And that exactly
that's what
happened. And how it impacted my career, my life. And that's why I often say, I mean, I would hear people say a number of things about the group and go, oh, well, you know, this one can't sing, and and when you came in, you could sing. And I always tell everybody, we all bring something to the table that makes this group what it is. There's a point guard. If you look on a basketball team, there's a center, there's a forward, there's a number, and every position is important. I don't care who you are, what you do. It's important. And I never bought into that. And I thought it was always being someone, you know, people being just flattering and it's a compliment. But at the end of the day, I was always clear on understanding that what took place, what we were able to accomplish, no one man or individual in this group could ever have done it. It was definitely, yeah.
It's a total team effort. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
mentioned being comfortable in your skin a few minutes ago. And, you know, we've had several of my female friends, my sister friends, my fellow queens, whatever y'all want to say. We've had a number of men, but I realized that we've never really touched upon that. You know, I think that the concept of being comfortable in your skin, people kind of relegate that to something that, you know, females go through, or when you come out of puberty as a young woman, that sort of thing. What was that for you? You know, because it seems like you've just always had swag and you've just always been that dude and that sort of you know, the behind the scenes.
Being comfortable in my skin?
Yeah.
For me, I think it was, I had a different upbringing. I can say this to this day. I've done 37 years in this game, in this business. And as a kid growing up, I had my field day. I've listened by no one can ever claim that I was a singer, but there were some things that had never taken place for me that I watched that I know that was a part of what this business can do to destroy you. Drugs was never an option for me. Never. Now, but if a woman is considered a drug, then hey, I need a rehab. But I never had the desire or felt the need to be out front or to say when I walk in the room, you need to notice who I know me and I need everybody to recognize me, or I need to, when I walk in, everybody to stop. I just never, that was like, I envy some people, a lot of artists that have this drive that I need that attention, because a lot of times they get the attention. They don't care how they get it, but they get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be in a position where you go, okay, it's not happening, not because it's got anything to do with my talent. It's just because I'm not acting crazy as hell. I'm not getting it, you know, so you realize sometimes you got to jump up and down. It's just not who I am. It's not who I am. It's never been who I am. If you ever notice when you look in the new edition pictures, and if you ever go back and look at the majority of the pictures, I'm normally in the back. Never sitting really out front. And it never, when everybody would jump and be trying to get their positions, it just never, I never felt this thing or this desire to like, yo, let me put it, I want to get in front. It was just kind of like, okay, we're getting that, let's go. I never had that desire. So being comfortable in my skin, I think it was just simply because I was okay with who I am. Even at that early age, at that early stage in my life, just was okay. Never was one of those guys that said, I need attention. Look at me. I felt almost like Michael Jordan in a sense. And I know some of us had a chance to watch him, but I almost felt like Michael in a lot of ways where I'm going, you know what, when I want to get mine, I can get mine. I need to make everybody else better around me. Like I was never just this guy that felt like it was, but it was just centered all the way. It was just always on me. That's why Ralph and I became so close. Bob and I become so close because I came in with this attitude, like I'm not even a threat to anybody. I'm just coming in here to be a part of a brotherhood that I want to grow. And that's, you know, they were the ones, and Ralph and I talk about it, Bobby talk about it, some of the others have talked about the fact that you got this new guy coming in, and some are happy to see you, and then there's some that are standing on the side going, okay, well, who's this guy, and what's up with him? We got to see his whole movement. And some just felt jealous simply because they're going, look at his gift, look at his talent, look what he does. Man, watch what happens when he sings, when he opens his mouth. And everybody's asking about this new guy. But I saw it, I felt it. But I was, even at the early stage of my life, I realized I was always taught that if if you don't give a flower water, it can't grow. So I never fed into when I would see people looking and trying to get some gauge of the energy to see if how you are, and if you going to have this pompous, arrogant attitude. I never fed into it. I never gave that, or never tried to overstep, or tried to act, or try to show or prove to somebody, hey man, I'm cool, I'm okay. I just always remained just being me.
Yep.
And that's all the best that I could do in waking up every day. And that is caring about people, never feeling threatened, making sure I could tell me what you need me to do to help. And that's just been my MO. That's who part of who I've been for, I can't recall how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's excellent advice. That's excellent. Male, female, artist, corporate, whomever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you know, that's real talk, quite honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned oh no, go ahead, babe.
No, go ahead. No, I was just going to say, and everybody's not equipped or probably wired or might not have had the same type of outlook or attitude about themselves that I do. Because there are some people that need some adjustments. There are some people that need to recognize and learn and know that there's a way you got to treat people. There's a way that you need to understand how to care for others and all those things. So everybody don't come from the same place with the same outcome or the same upbringing and those kind of things to be able to have the kind of thought process that I had. So I get it. You know, it's just learning, being open to learn, and recognizing that most importantly is to recognize as human beings, there's a level of respect that we just got to try to have for everybody.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Absolutely. You mentioned the great Gerald Busby, and we certainly loved just, you know, who he was as a person, who he was as a record executive, and just, you know, just that spirit and energy that is Gerald Busby. We know about Andre Harrell, and you and I talked about it for just a brief moment earlier. And
that was
Andre was so special. Andre Harrell was one of the greatest in the music game, and then transcended into other areas of media, into television, with New York Undercover, and then with Honey and Strictly Business. I mean, and he just, you know, then he did Revolt with Diddy, and I mean, he just did so many things to influence the culture, and honestly kind of redefine a culture, and not just in terms of out here culture, but a corporate culture. You know, the music industry, especially in the 90s, was still, you know, very much so a corporate entity and industry. And so, you know, for you being on the inside, because my entry point, we never worked together or anything, but I just remember I took a lot of cues from I took them in my mind. Was as a mogul, and the moves that he would make and things like that. It was like a blueprint. But for you, being in the thick of it, what was that like?
Wow.
If you can.
This one, it threw me. What I've learned over a period of time is that the longer we live, the more of these calls we're going to get. And
I just thought about like maybe 45 minutes ago, I was in that same place. That's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And as we move forward, I just had a conversation with all my guys, no addition. We just had a conversation. I mean, literally right before I got on with you, I was a little late. That's what I was on a call with. My thing is, I don't care how you chop it up. Life don't discriminate. It doesn't care how rich you are, doesn't care how successful you are. Life doesn't discriminate. And it is just a reminder for all of us, even Andre Harrell. Andre and I, when we first met, we weren't very big fans of each other at all. Why? Because he had just come in, they had just out Joe Busby. And I was so loyal to Joe. And I felt, and I felt just like, I don't know, I took it personal, like many, like myself, Michael did too, Bivens. We took it personal because we're like, Gerald, that's, you know, he was our mentor. He was the guy that carried the audition in the early stages, and myself. And so when Andre came in, I got a call, and they said, Andre wants to talk to you. And I was like, wait a minute, y'all didn't give us heads up. Y'all just got rid of Gerald. I said, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just don't. And I said, if there's no Gerald, I don't want to be there. I just, because that's who I trusted, because he had guided my career. And so I kept getting these calls from just the people that were working around Andre. And I'll never forget one. I said, so he really wants to talk to me? I said, maybe I can get him off my back. I said, yeah, well, just tell him if he give me $50,000, we can have a conversation. And I'm thinking they'll go, okay, go back to him, tell him. He said, the only way he'll talk to you, give him $50,000. A couple of days later, a messenger rings my doorbell, and there's a check for $50,000. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm going, okay, so where does he want to meet? We can all be sold. Call me, sell out. Wow. And it was funny because here's the thing that I loved about Andre as we started talking and hanging out. Andre if he liked you, you were part of his life and his circle. Andre tried to take care of every single person that was a friend that he knows. I mean, he was good for all of us, for friends, bad for corporations. Because Andre didn't have no problem with writing checks. He was awesome. But it was a true testament to how he treats his friends. And that's why they say never judge a book by its cover, because as I began got a chance to know him, we started building a wonderful relationship. And it just went to show you once again, keeping your mind open and recognizing and opening your spirit and understanding that what took place with Gerald, it didn't feel good. Yeah. But by no means was that Andre's fault. And what I had to realize is at the end of the day, one man's blessing might be of something that we have to recognize that belongs, might be for someone else too as well. So I began to realize, knowing him, getting to know him, that it wasn't his fault, but at the end of the day that he was now taking advantage of an opportunity to feed his family and to make his mark in this industry. And it was the part of the destiny of him being and we being and working together. And I had to accept that. Yeah. I met with Andre a few months ago. We had lunch and we were just sitting around talking, just catching up, like nothing special, just talking about everything. Just had lunch at the Sunset Marquee. And a few weeks later, we went, and then I saw, the last time I saw Andre was actually at Puffy's party, a birthday party that he had given himself. And who was the first person that embraced me as soon as I walked through the door? Andre. And I keep thinking about that long, tight embrace that we had when I walked through that door. Right. That I think I'm gonna that's the first thing that hit me when I got the call last night. And I'm just like, man. It's hard to wrap your head around it. Yeah. But the reality is that none of us are here forever. And the thing that I keep trying to tell everybody is it's so important to realize that on this journey, that when God speaks, there is no negotiating. Our destiny is set and planned, and whatever that is for every individual, can be a little deterred and can be sometimes taken back because of the fact that we seem to think and get so arrogant to believe that there is a tomorrow, and tomorrow is not promised to anybody.
No, it's not.
It teaches you, if you haven't learned yet, that these issues that you have with those that you love, and those that seem to think that there will be a tomorrow, that it reminds you that we take so much for granted. Yes. And I don't get off the phone with none of my friends, my brothers, anybody without saying I love you.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I make it my business to tell everybody that I get up before I get off the phone, okay, I love you. Because I know I've been through enough now to understand that that we don't run nothing around here.
That's right.
God is in control. And when he has spoken, there's nothing you can do or say but amen.
And so it is.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of
and so
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that, so going back to Andre, I feel that when you talk about all the things that he's accomplished, we all have got to travel down that road. And I hope that we all understand, most importantly, I know for me, is when that time comes, is that God can say, well done, well done.
Good and faithful.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Well, he will. He's not going to tell you that for a very long time, though, my friend. And I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I'm letting other people get in line in front of me.
That right there. That part.
I'm cool.
One day, Johnny and we went to church.
Oh my God.
Church. We went to West Angeles. That's where I was going to church when I still lived in LA as back in my 20s. And I just love that we could fellowship together. We could laugh together. We could cry together. You know, we've just been through so much, and artistically as well, that we are, you know, like you said, you've been in the game 37. I've been in just a smidge longer.
Yeah.
Before I left,
that's why you're older than me.
Yeah, that's why. Before I let you get out of here, so everybody, of course, wants to know if you are going to sing and if I'm going to ask you to sing. So here's the thing. Of course, there's happy birthday, but I might just have you call me back on my birthday and sing it then. So there's
well, you know I will.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Lackey's birthday is the same day as yours, right?
Yep.
Ah, that's right.
Brother.
Oh.
So there's either Half Crazy, of course there's My, or there's your current single, which, by the way, congrats on the new music. And at another point, we'll have to talk about, you know, just staying in the game this long and still wanting to do something new. You know, because that must mean that you have a passion for what you do. But
absolutely.
That's another conversation. That's, you know, because I have a really special guest coming on after you as well. So, and
are you kicking me off? That's what you're doing? Oh, so you kicking me off because you got somebody else coming on?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're doing to me?
That's what I'm doing. That's
all right. I remember that. All right. Remember that.
So I was going to have the people choose and have our friends choose to see if they want new music, if they want, yes, this is Johnny Gill for those of you who are coming over from Jill and Erica. And I was with Jill and Erica for like 2 hours, and then I had to jump on and, you know, do my birthday vibe. But
somebody said, ain't nothing like the soul of a woman. When you ain't got nothing, make you feel like $1,000,000. That's my baby. Ain't nothing like the soul of a woman. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I know they want to hear some. Put on your red dress and slip on your high heels and some of that sweet perfume. It sure smells good on you. Let's just get to you got me saying, my, you sure look good tonight. Hey, and you're so damn fine. I want to say, come on, sing it. Your part, Ken. My. All right. You sure look
good tonight.
Ah, yeah, God. Come on, you going on the road with me. We going on the road. Hey, we going on the road.
The roadie. I love you, boy.
I love you.
Thanks for coming.
And I'm calling you on your birthday.
Huh? What?
And I'm calling you on your birthday, so.
As always, my dear. I love you. All right.
Love you more.
Talk
all right.
baby.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. So that was pretty fun. That was pretty spectacular. And I was in, okay? I was in the pocket with that right there, right there, right there. So we are having oh, somebody said I'm glad I switched over to the birthday vibe. Yay, me too. Thank you. Now don't leave, y'all, because we have a really special friend coming on, another special friend. I told y'all the gentleman had the floor tonight. And you are used to seeing him on Saturday nights. And he is someone that has been a dear friend, and someone that I just adore forever and ever and ever and ever. So let's see if you can guess. And while I'm waiting on him to come on in the room, the word for, let me see if he's in the room. Hold on. Will Packer was here. Oh, snap. Hey. Hey. Okay. He is not in the room yet. I'm a little behind, so I'm hoping that he, still will come. So the word for this evening. What was I going to make the word for the evening? You guys are guessing. I see your guesses. Some are saying Keenan. Some are saying Eddie. Oh, Will Packer, you're still here. Hi, you. Hi, Will Packer. I am honored. I am so honored. I don't want to be rude and just click on since we weren't scheduled to chat, but I'm officially inviting you to the Birthday Vibes Countdown, Will Packer. So I will offline be able to connect and see when you can come in officially. So somebody said Chris Rock. Let me see if he's in here yet. Okay, now, Lord. I don't want to leave y'all and text Barry Manilow. Oh, no, it's not going to be Barry Manilow. I'm sorry to disappoint. Tracy Morgan, another good guess. Another good guess. Someone said singing. Let's see. Oh, okay, tonight is going to be another twofer. Okay, so we're going to do 2 words. Somebody tell me, please, what the count is, because I don't want to give too many words, and we still got another couple of days. So I'm thinking either singing or laughing, because they are 2 of my favorite things. I think I'm actually going to go more with laughing. That's it right there. The word for the night is laughing. That's something that I love to do. And that's something that I clearly do with Johnny. And so we are very excited about my other friend that I do so much laughing with this other friend that every time we try to take pictures, we're kind of blurred because we're always moving. So okay, I might have to leave y'all just to text him. So you like laughing? I'm so glad. I hate to leave y'all. Y'all stay right there. Just look at the picture of my mama and little Richard. I'll be right back.